Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. I've just seen the first question. It's quite a serious question, so I won't be jovial. Shaka,
are you ever?
Eh? Am I ever what? Jovial? What? Shaka, have you ever got assaulted from a fan on the pitch?
No.
No?
Probably the closest I've come to assault, and I've heard a number of people talk about this, played in Costa Rica. They throw bags.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Does that qualify as assault?
Well, it's not, yeah, God.
No, it qualifies as assault.
Yeah. So the bags will be thrown at you and explode on you.
Yes.
And then you smell of the contents of
Correct.
the bag.
So whenever you stay out of your box for a while, I would stay out of my box for as long as I possibly could.
Wow.
It was not fun. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes. No?
No. Just verbal.
Right.
Verbal assaults.
Verbal assault.
And then as Jules was saying on the show, Ramsdale was giving it back during the game.
Yes.
See, I don't have an issue with that.
Nor do I.
Because what players have to endure and coaches is quite considerable.
Yep.
And sometimes you give a little back, as long as it doesn't cross the line. But the physical assault from the alleged Spurs fan crosses the line. It's as simple as that.
Here is Detective Ezio now.
Ooh.
Shaka, when asked what teammates were fun to party with, you stated you don't party. Sorry, don't party.
Yeah.
Yet when Don named teammates you had in common, you were nodding away. Which is it, Neil? Do you party or not?
I did not party, but I heard the stories. I heard the stories, Dan. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Says the man that goes to the carnival every year.
Yes.
I'll be going again this year to look on. I'll be looking
There'll be
on.
no partying whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
The chances of you playing in Newcastle and East London at West Ham and not partying with any lads
Don't party. Just don't buy it.
is not even a 0.1% chance that
I'm a very
never happened.
Do you know what? I have seen Shaka in party mode.
What?
And his stamina is very impressive.
What?
Very
I
impressive.
don't know what you're talking about, Dad.
I've seen it in action.
Bourbon.
Just the amount.
What's the next question? What's the next question? What's the next?
We had a guy at Celtic like that. He was a similar height to Shaka, and he was like that as well. He was a Scandinavian, and we used to call him hollow legs.
Right. Yeah.
Because he said, where the hell's he putting all this?
Yes. Yeah. But it wasn't that. It wasn't just. It was just the fact that you just kept going day after day.
Don't know what you're talking about, Dan.
Impressive, Shaq.
No idea.
But he doesn't. No, it's not him. It wasn't him.
Oh,
wasn't me.
It's a lookalike. Wearing a goalie's top.
With Mudryk now coming into Chelsea, what will Pulisic's future at the club now look like? And if he were to leave, where should he go?
I'd like Craig to address this, please.
I tell you what, his arrival does not affect Pulisic any more than before.
Because
He's going to be a bit part player there when he's fit and everybody's back and playing fit and well again. All right, maybe it does affect him. Maybe there's even less chance of him getting a full-time gig there now.
Yep.
God, can you put this? Felix, Mudryk,
Yeah.
Ziyech,
Yeah. It's not good.
Mount.
It's not good. For Craig,
List goes on.
whose price tag was more egregious? Grealish or Mudryk? Both 100 million?
Egregious. I would say Mudryk.
Right. Because he's so raw?
Yeah, he's very raw. A big talent, but very raw. I think Jack Grealish, although we haven't seen it regular, was more of a complete player ready to go to Man City or somewhere. We just haven't. We've seen a little bit of it recently, but we just haven't seen enough of the best of him. I think Mudryk is really more of an unknown.
Right.
What we're going to get. Younger, talented, but very raw.
I wouldn't say egregious, bigger gamble. Let's go with that.
Oh, okay, Shaq.
I'm keen to have this labelled properly.
Okay, well, thank you very much for setting that
Partying
straight.
and nights out.
Yeah, setting that straight, Shaq.
Party, night out.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. You're welcome, Dad.
Were you guys entertained with the banter between Xhaka and Conte during the second half of the Arsenal-Spurs match? Is it good for local derbies when a manager and player from opposing teams go at it with each other to add an edge?
I saw that when the game was going on, and it reminded me of a time I had something similar with the late, great Graham Taylor.
Oh, yeah?
Former Aston Villa, Watford and England manager, amongst others. He was managing Watford at the time, and he started shouting at me. And his face was getting redder and redder, and I was screaming at him, winding him up. Very similar.
Oh,
and then just back and forth. And then years later, I met him, we were working for BBC 5 Live together, and he is such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Was such a nice guy. Funny, never had a problem, would remember it happened, but it was part of the game, Craig. It was part of the game. You were having a go at me, I'm having a go at you, and never crossed the line. It was passion. Yeah. So I don't know what was said with the Granit Xhaka, Antonio Conte scenario. I know what was said in my conversation, I won't repeat it. But yeah, it goes on.
It's fun, isn't it? It's entertainment. That's what you want.
Was Graham going to shout onto me and I was going to go, okay?
Yes.
I mean, I might have done for being condescending, but then I decided that I was going to take a different route. Anyway, it's just part of the...
If you haven't seen the Graham Taylor documentary, by the way, of when he was manager of England, be sure to check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. It's fantastic.
He was a fantastic character.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Nice guy.
For Craig and Shaka, at the beginning of the season, Shaka and Craig picked Real Madrid to win La Liga.
Yes.
Have they changed their mind?
No, well, listen, we're talking to the incredible mind changer, extraordinaire.
Yes. Of course, Shaka, who famously backed Argentina at the start of the World Cup.
I stuck with them throughout.
Changed his
stuck with them
mind
throughout, Dan.
after the
Stuck with
Saudi
them
Arabia.
throughout.
So, what are you doing, Shaq?
I'm staying the course, Dan.
Really?
Yeah, he's learned his lesson.
That's me, Dan.
He learned.
I'm a course stayer.
You stick with Real Madrid? You're sticking with Real Madrid?
I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater just yet.
Yeah, but it's not. It's on the verge of being tipped out.
Yeah, it's on the baby's
On the precipice.
The baby's hanging on. He's hanging on to the edge of the tub.
The baby is still in the bath as we speak.
Yes. Gavi or Foden? Who is the better midfielder?
Ooh.
At the moment,
Yeah.
Gavi.
Well, yeah, at the moment, Foden's having a bit of a shocker, and Gavi's loving it.
At the moment,
Yeah.
Foden's having a little bit of an indifferent time.
It's interesting you mentioned Gavi having a bit of an edge. Do you want your players to have that? Do you like that kind of
Yes.
that attribute?
I do. I especially at this age, I don't have a problem with it. I think you learn to play with that edge. You learn how to manage it.
Right.
So it's not an issue. No.
I wanted my teammates to have it because that meant they were on board.
Yeah. And that's kind of part of your personality, isn't it? So sometimes it's difficult to like.
Well, Granit Xhaka is a good example. He's been better this year, not perfect, but he's been on the edge for a long time.
Yes.
You know, and he's a more experienced player. We're talking about Gavi, who's a youngster. Xhaka's been the course, club and country, but his disciplinary record in the Bundesliga was very poor.
Right.
So it was already poor coming in, an amazing amount of yellow cards, and he continued that. And I think he's wiped a lot of it out of his game, not at all.
Have you seen the clip from today?
I haven't seen the clip.
So at the end of the game, Arteta's celebrating with Odegaard, and then out of the corner of his eye, you see Shaka running towards a Spurs player, right? And he runs after Shaka and grabs him to make sure he doesn't get involved.
As I said, he's not quite perfect. I don't think he ever will. But if he can just keep it on an even keel, then Arsenal get a much better player.
You know who I found a perfect example of that? Wayne Rooney.
Right.
Coming through at Everton, you knew he was always on the edge.
Okay.
And then as he matured and learned to manage that side, well, his record speaks for itself.
For everyone, according to their great current form, it's a good question, who are you taking, United or Barcelona, to go through? Of course, they face off in the Europa League when it returns next month.
From what I've seen today, Barcelona. United had a great result, and have had some really good results recently, and are playing much better, but they didn't control the game in the way that Barcelona controlled the actual game. Not only the game, they controlled the game and the result. In some sense, the result happened because of a couple of moments for Man United. The result for Barcelona in this big game against Real Madrid happened because of the performance. And that just, for me, sets them apart a little bit.
I'm going to go Manchester United just to be contrary.
Well, that's not a reason.
Well,
that's
yeah,
No,
that's a good answer. That's my reason. That being said, I think I think it's a good matchup because Manchester United are a counter-attacking team, and I think they've shown that they can pass their way out of pressure a whole lot better than Real Madrid showed today, certainly. So it's going to be a very good matchup that I'm struggling to find who I really prefer.
If you think about it, there was a 70-30 split in possession in the Manchester derby.
Yes.
In Man City's favour, but they only had one effort on target, on goal, and that was the goal itself. You imagine Barcelona would have similar stats in terms of possession, but they are much more creative, or they certainly are at the moment. So it's a difficult one, it is, but just because Man United fans will say I'm a Man United hater, because they do.
Just jump on that.
No.
See, that's as good an excuse as mine.
Even though I think I've given a very valid explanation of why, it will still be you hate Man United.
Oh well, there we go.
You can't change people's
Maybe it's true.
perception. It's not true. Shaka does.
Shaka does. Final question, who do they think will win the Super Bowl?
What?
Well, who's in it?
Who will win the Super Bowl? No, we don't know who's in it yet. We just started wild card, haven't we?
Last 2 years I've not been able to watch any.
But normally you get into the playoff bits, don't you? What's happened?
Life.
Life's got in the way.
No, I'll tell you what's happened. There's a common denominator.
Okay.
The more dogs that get added to my household.
You and your dogs are a bit of an issue.
Well, it's not. I'm not the issue. It's the people who keep buying them and bringing them home.
Yes. Have you seen the car sticker that he's got on his car?
No.
What does it say, Craig?
You've not seen it?
No.
That's all right then.
What's this
It's a little on the side, just near the petrol cap. There's a little pause.
Dog paw.
Dog paw.
Yep.
With little black dots. It says, "I love my dog." I bought it for my daughter, and she said, "Get that off my car." I said, "Okay." I bought it. I didn't keep the receipt. I'll put it on mine. And she said, I did. I bought it for my daughter's car. I thought, this is sweet. She'll love it. She went. She said, "I wouldn't be seen dead with that in my car."
Yeah. So you've put it on his.
I put it on mine.
Magnetic.
Hey,
I'm going to have to see this.
the magnetic sticker on.
Yeah.
Plop.
Lovely. In
Look
case you didn't know how it got on there.
Look how proud he is.
Yeah, exactly. I love my dog.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want me to put? Do you want me to put one on? I hate my dogs. Well, I mean,
What is this
But you
word?
don't need to put it on at all, do you?
I bought it.
Right, so you're going to use it.
Yeah, because she didn't want it, and the wife didn't want it, so I was the only cat. My son said, "Get lost."
Right, yes.
Said, "You're not putting it in mine."
Yeah.
My daughter said, "Offski."
So you're the big softy in the family, is what
Yes.
you're saying?
You know that.
There you are.
Don't lie.
And we haven't answered the Super Bowl question.
I have no
Dolphins.
Dolphins are out.
They went out.
They're out. They're gone. What have we got on the
Packers.
moment? The Giants. No, Packers. Patriots, Bears.
Chiefs.
Name all of them.
Chiefs.
Hey, that's a good answer.
Andy. What's his name?
Sorry?
Coach? Andy. The head coach.
Andy.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid.
I'm going to start watching it again.
Ah, there we go.
Thank
Good.
you.
The Eagles might do well as well, which will mean Gab will be happy. I'm not sure we need that in our lives. Did you see his Antarctic pictures?
Was he at...
He went to the Antarctic, yeah.
Is it not cold there?
Well, yeah. Well, apparently it was the summer, so it wasn't that cold.
Where's the Antarctic?
Well, Gab.
On vacation.
Gab. He took his kids there as well. Remember
Yeah.
the teenage girls? Oh,
And what was your like? What was vacation in your household when you were growing up? What was it like? You had to go. The parents used to take us places and try and freeze us.
Yeah, he said it was full of penguin poo. There we go. That is it. ESPN FC is back tomorrow. What's happening tomorrow? Mark Clattenburg is here. We'll be discussing the offside. Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.